Welcome back to the video, brother. Look, if you are over 30, you should probably be taking TRT. Honestly, like if you are over 30 and you are too stubborn to go get your testosterone levels checked, there's not much that I can do for you because testosterone is a man's life force. Testosterone helps men regulate everything in the body. So if you are feeling tired, lethargic, you fall asleep during the day, you're overweight, you can't seem to lose weight, you can't seem to control what you're eating, you're not confident, you are always being emotional, you have these mood swings, all of these things that we've been brainwashed into thinking are just normal for a man in his 30s are absolutely not normal. They are a result of your testosterone being low. And you can choose to live life one of two ways. You can either choose to live life to optimize your health and to be as successful and to be as healthy and to be as efficient as a man, or you can just be average. And that's just the fact of the matter, is because if your testosterone levels are low and you're unable to increase through natural means, then TRT really is your only option, because the alternative is staying with low testosterone, not being able to lose weight, being high body fat, not having the energy to do the things that you need to do, and so many more issues that happen in our bodies as men over 30. So you need to go get your levels checked. Check your ego at the door and say, hey, look, I'm 30 years old. I need to go get my levels checked, make sure they're right. Now, a doctor, a urologist or a primary care doctor will tell you that as long as you're at 300 milligrams per deciliter, then you're good. You're in the normal range. But for the guys on this channel, we're not trying to be in the normal range. We are trying to optimize, and we're trying to be at the peak of the range, because we know that's where we'll get the peak results. That's where we'll have the most energy. That's where we'll get the best pumps in the gym. That's where we'll get the most energy, and that's where we'll get the most health benefits. You guys don't understand how many things in the male body that testosterone regulates. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's literally a man's life force. So if you're sitting here and you're over 30 years old and you haven't gotten your testosterone checked in the last 12 months, what are you doing? You could be so much more productive right now if your levels were optimized. And I'm not saying abusing it. If you have a testosterone level of 300, you're not gonna feel good, no matter what the doctor says is normal range. You really wanna be between 800 and 1,000. So you wanna start optimizing for that. So go get the levels checked, and ideally you wanna go to a TRT clinic. You don't wanna go to a urologist, because a urologist, all they're gonna do is they're gonna put you on a random dosage, and they're probably gonna put you on every 2 weeks like they did me. I got on TRT 2 years ago at the age of 30, and I went to a urologist because I was told that's the way to do it, to get prescribed TRT. I went to a urologist, he got my initial blood work, he put me on 200 milligrams every 2 weeks. Well, little did I know the half-life of testosterone is only about 7 to 8 days. So what was happening for the last almost 2 years was the first week after my testosterone dose, I felt amazing, okay? Well, let's say good. I felt good. And then the second week, the whole week, I was jonesing for the next injection, because I was like, man, I felt so good last week, but this week I'm just dragging. And that's because the half-life is only 7, 8 days. So why would you put somebody on a 2-week dose, right? Every 2-week dose, it makes 0 sense. And then whenever I would go back and do blood work, my levels, they would be showing at like 300, 400 at the most. And I would say, hey, I think we need to take a look at our dosage here, because my testosterone is still showing up pretty low. And the doctor was saying, well, how do you feel? And I'm like, well, you know, I feel better on it than without it, of course. And he'd say, well, it's really about more how you feel than the actual levels. And I'm looking at this guy like, wait a minute, like you're a doctor, like you check blood work for a living, like this is what you do. And you're telling me that the number doesn't actually matter? And so I had to leave that doctor and I had to go to a testosterone clinic. Okay, because I went to the testosterone clinic and I said, hey, look, this is what's going on. And they're like, whoa. We don't even offer an every 2-week protocol. We only allow people to do every week because the half-life is only 7 to 8 days. I said, well, that makes sense. Great. I'm in the right place. And then I said, okay, I was taking 200 milligrams every 2 weeks. And they said, all right, we're going to do 200 milligrams every week. And then we're going to do blood work in a month or two. And we're going to figure out, okay, where exactly are your levels at with that dosage? And if your levels are not where you want them to be, if they're around 400, 500, 600, then we can increase that dose to get you to your goal of 800 to 1,000. So I've been sitting here lifting heavy weights, boxing, competing in fights, doing all this stuff, and my testosterone has not been optimized for the last 2 years. 1 week I'm here, and the next week I'm down here. And so I'm super excited because not only am I with the right clinic now, I'm getting the right proper dosage at the right time. I feel so much better, and I'm encouraging you guys, you're gonna live a much better life if your testosterone levels are where they need to be. So go get checked, go get tested, and do not be afraid to hop on TRT. Now, the last thing I'll say is most people's concern with TRT is they're fearful of being dependent on it and being on it the rest of their life. My argument, my rebuttal for that is, what is the alternative? To just have low testosterone your entire life? No, that's not a good alternative. I would rather take the TRT and feel the best I've ever felt in my life and accomplish everything that I want to accomplish than to just be miserable just because I didn't want to take a shot. So if you guys have any questions on testosterone, if you have any questions on TRT, the protocols, everything like that, shoot me a message on Instagram at Sean Jones Official. I'd be more than happy to tell you about my experience on TRT and answer any questions that you might have. That being said, I will see you in the next video. Peace.